Hola amigos de CineNT, estamos aquí con Matthew Heyman, director de la película Tierra de Cárteles, un documental muy valiente, un documental que va a marcar un parteaguas en la manera en que estamos viendo cosas de la historia de México actual. Matthew, welcome to Mexico.
Thank you.
Your movie Carterland is a brave documentary about things that happen in Mexico, that stuff that hurts of the Mexicans, but with a different point of view. A point of view from one who saw these things far away and decided to get to them in a very physical way, in a very touching way. How do you approach to this theme when you saw for the first time?
How did I approach this the story?
Story when you saw for the first time.
So I first was filming in Arizona with a group of vigilantes there, and after about 4 or 5 months, my father sent me an article about the autodefensas, and right when I read it, I knew I wanted to create this parallel story of these two groups, these two vigilante groups on both sides of the border, fighting against the cartels. And, you know, at its heart are the leaders of these two groups, El Doctor on the autodefensa side and Tim Naylor Foley on the Arizona side. And they're both 55-year-old men. They both believe that the government has failed. And they've both taken the law into their own hands to fight for what they believe in. But the circumstances are much different. In Mexico, the violence is real. It's visceral. 80,000 plus people killed since 2007. 20,000 plus people disappeared since 2007. Whereas in Arizona, it's much more theoretical. It's a fear that these Mexican drug wars will seep its way across our border.
In the movie, the documentary, we start to see the autodefensas, the vigilantes in Mexico in a glorious way. But as the movie goes down, we saw a little disappointment for the movement, for the people, that is a circle, a vicious circle that never breaks, that never broke, and that hurts. How do you feel when you realize that nothing changed, that nothing really, really makes a difference, that they do as they say it, and when you saw the reality, what happens?
When I first started, especially in Mexico with the autodefensas, I really thought that it was a very simple story of good versus evil, of people with white shirts fighting against people with black shirts, in the classic Western sense. And then over time, I realized that the story is much more complicated, that the lines between good and evil were much more blurry, much more gray, and that ultimately, you know, in the end of the film, the cycle repeats itself. And it was, you know, I had absolutely no idea where the story was going. And, you know, I was as surprised as you were. And that was, you know, as we were editing the film, in the edit room, constantly talking with my editors about how I want the audience to go on the same journey that I went on. At the moments where I thought I understood what was happening, and it changed, I want the audience to feel that, and then change back again. I want you to go on that same roller coaster, and then ultimately the film sort of begins where it starts, or excuse me, ends where it begins.
Yeah, you were very brave. You were in the middle of the shootings. You were filming things that many people in Mexico can do. How do you get the approachment with these people to let you do that thing, to let you filming when they are praising all the bad guys? How do you get this permiso, this permit?
I think trust and time. You know, I was very clear when I first stepped foot in Mexico that I'm here to document history. I'm not here to take sides. I'm here to bear witness to the story of the autodefensas. And I wasn't here for a day or 2 or 3 days. I was here for 9 months. I had the fortune and the I was very lucky because I was able to come here for 9 months on and off, like one to 2 weeks of every month, and I developed relationships with people on both sides, and relationships that that you can't develop in a day or two. And in the film we see those characters develop and they arc over time. But that through those relationships that helped me gain access to those very intimate moments. Those intimate moments in a shootout, in a meth lab, in moments of torture, things that I never could have imagined ever filming.
How did you involve Catherine Bigelow in the production?
So the film premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, and I was very, very grateful to be there. And then afterwards, Catherine saw the film, and she was very moved by it. And so we were connected, and I began meeting with her and talking with her, and decided that we decided to bring her on board as an executive producer of the film to help raise its profile. And I'm a huge fan of hers. I'm a huge fan of Zero Dark 30. I'm a huge fan of Hurt Locker. And, I'm very grateful that she's on the team. And, I think she very much believes in the importance of the film. And in the same way I do, that this film will hopefully start a very important dialogue and show people a world that they haven't seen before.
Okay. How did you cure yourself after all the things that you saw, after all the feelings that you had during the filming? How do you cure yourself?
I want to say a couple of things. One, we had a screening today with a room full of journalists, a lot of whom I saw out in the field in Mexico. I'm not the only person that put myself in danger. There's many people in Mexico that have put themselves in danger to tell stories. There's many journalists who have lost their lives in Mexico for telling stories. There's many journalists all around the world who've lost their lives telling dangerous stories. So I'm not the only one. I'm not special. So I just want to say that. There are very difficult things that I saw and that we saw, and things that will stay with me for the rest of my life. But I very much believed in the story and wanted this story to be told.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We wish you very good luck for all of your future projects.
Thank you so much.